In her words, he just kept hitting me. Now the woman seen being punched over and over in a parking lot is charged with a state jail felony. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cynthia Aguirre.
And I'm Chris Lawrence. LaDajanique Lee is accused of breaking the windows of the suspect's truck, causing several $1,000s in damage. And now we want to hear from you. Are the charges against her fair? Well, our live poll is open. Cast your vote by hitting the Vote Now tile in your WFAA app.
And while you vote, we are covering this from all angles tonight. Damon Fernandez is standing by live in Deep Ellum, where we could see protests. But first, we begin with Rebecca Lopez, live at the Dallas Police Department. Rebecca.
Well, as News 8 first reported, an arrest warrant has been issued for Miss Lee. Dallas police say that she caused thousands of dollars worth of damage to Austin Sheffield's truck, and that, they say, is a felony. Now, as you have seen, this video went viral of Sheffield allegedly, or rather punching Miss Lee. They have charged him with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and 2 other misdemeanor charges. Now, he had a gun in his hand during that assault, but what police say isn't on the video is what the victim did after the assault. Detectives say she took a heavy object and slammed it against Sheffield's truck, causing damage, and broke out his windows and windshield. Police did make a report of criminal mischief that night. It happened the night it happened, but they waited, they said, to find out what the damage was to his vehicle before filing charges. In Texas, it is a state jail felony when a person causes more than $2,500 in damages. So after DPD finished its investigation into her, they said they had a judge sign a warrant today. DPD says the victim admitted she did the damage in interviews with them. Now, the cases were treated completely separately, conducted by different divisions of the department. And while some people are angry about the decision, DPD says they felt the charges were appropriate.
You know, we understand that there are some people that are upset, and it's not the intention of the Dallas Police Department to pick one side or the other. We simply had information that was provided to us on a criminal offense, and we thoroughly investigated that offense, and we took the action that was taken today.
So we asked experts what they think. Defense attorney George Milner says he has, in fact, seen victims charged in crimes. So here's what he had to say.
You can't do that. You've got to call the police, let them handle it. You can't turn around and be your own kind of vigilante or seek your own retribution. And it sounds like she may have done that.
The victim's attorney tweeted, Lee Merritt tweeted, victims of savage assaults cannot logically be held responsible for damage done to their assailants' property during or immediately after their attack. Of course, context matters, and the decision to charge is a clear abuse of discretion. Now, this case, again, could have been sent to a grand jury for a referral. That was not done. They decided instead to directly charge her, which means an arrest warrant was issued. And ultimately, this decision in any police department, ultimately in a high-profile case, comes from the chief of police, and sources say that Chief Hall was aware of this charge. But the person who says they were not aware that a charge was coming down was, in fact, the district attorney of Dallas. He tweeted that he did not know. He found out from the media that this charge was coming down. So he says once they receive the case, he will then determine what's going to happen next. Now, obviously, there is a lot of outcry about this case and what has happened and the charge. So we now go to Damon Fernandez in Deep Ellum for more on that. Damon.
Rebecca, you know, ever since that violent assault happened right back here in this parking lot, the neighborhood of Deep Ellum has been at the center of attention, right along with the suspect, Austin Sheffield, and the victim, LaDajanique Lee. And now activists are telling me police and city leaders can expect protests and demonstrations to continue in this area right into the weekend. Now, organizers with Next Generation Action Network are among those now questioning DPD's move to file felony charges against Lee. They are now planning protests in the streets of Deep Ellum this weekend and calling for an economic boycott here. Now, the activists say they're well aware thousands of people will be visiting this area for the annual Deep Ellum Arts Festival this weekend. The group says its presence will be felt.
Always have to find a way to discredit a victim. And the sad reality is that after a woman is brutally attacked by a man, that a woman actions afterwards would be judged and lead her to criminal actions when she tried to call the authorities and a man pulled out a deadly weapon. It's troubling.
Now, some other activists are speaking up too, like Reverend Jeff Hood. He's telling me word about Miss Lee allegedly damaging Shuffield's car comes as a surprise. He says many members of the social justice community were never told any of those details when they initially hit the streets of Deep Ellum in protest. Now, some of them are wondering why Lee's being charged so late in the game right now. And the attention to this case will continue tomorrow morning. Activists tell me that they are staging a protest at City Hall, downtown Dallas at 9 a.m. In Deep Ellum, I'm Damon Fernandez. Chris?
All right, we'll be sure to follow that. Thank you, Damon. And we asked you, are the charges against LaDasia Lee fair? You have spoken out, and by about a 2-to-1 margin, you say, yes, they are. About 68% saying yes, 32% saying no. Our poll is closed, but we want to thank you for voting.
A former high school